Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And set, mark, action. Okay, so last night I saw the stage play turned into a movie. The new movie out this weekend, Dear Evan Hansen, is directed by Stephen Chbosky. Directs it. Also starring in the main role of Evan Hansen is Ben Platt, alongside Amy Adams, Julianne Moore, Kaitlyn Dever, Amandla Stenberg, Nik Dodani, Danny Pino, and Colton Ryan. Now, it felt like I saw an ad for this or a trailer for this every week. It was very highly marketed. I was very excited to see it too because I'm a fan of musicals and of high school movies just set in high school. They attract me. Stick around to the end of this video and I'll give my top 5 high school movies. But just this really got me excited and put my expectations up high, which might have hurt the film a little bit more because I was super ready to see this and wanting to see it. But let's just start off this review with the best thing of the movie, which is Ben Platt's performance. He's just great at these little twitches, how he sits in a chair. You just get that this kid is nervous, not sure of himself, going through very serious issues and all that, and that's conveyed through his performance and just by his mannerisms as well as how he talks, and just when he goes up on that stage and sings and he's just shaking the whole time and just nervous and just stumbling over his words. It's great performance from Ben Platt. The only downside though is that I just was taken out of the movie by how old Ben Platt looked. He looked like he was in his 30s, even though I looked it up after he's only 27, but still it looked weird for him to be a high school kid just by how old he looked, kind of like that 5 o'clock shadow, but like a lot of makeup put on it. So like you wouldn't see the stubble and all that, but just it was very weird at certain scenes and just took me out of the movie. But when I wasn't distracted by that, his performance was memorizing, very great, and just shows you why he was great in the stage play of this, and he really embodied this character and just made it his own and knew the character all around, and could see that he might relate to the character in some ways, but not for sure on that. But his just presence is very great in the movie. And being this is a stage play turned into a movie now, something you can't do on the stage is different camera angles, the cuts of it, just the locations of it. I think this movie improved the I have never seen the stage play, but just in my head comparing the two, I'm just like, this movie elevated the stage play, I feel, just by the camera movements, the angles they use, the cuts. It just got you more invested in the movie than just seeing these actors perform on the stage. I felt like a movie version of this really improved the overall concept and message of the movie more so. In the end, though, this is a very basic story. You kind of know where it's gonna go based on the trailers, but it's a layered plot with the different motivations of each character and just little things going on in each character's life, and you understand the decisions they make throughout the movie, even though some of them at the end were a little iffy and the end really fell flat for me. But overall, it was very layered plot and just a basic story. You knew every beat of the story going into, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, but it never took away from the movie. Just knowing what to expect is okay in movies as long as it delivers, and this movie did an okay job of that. And why Ben Platt's performance is so great in this is from Benj, Pasek, and Justin Paul's just contribution of writing these songs and getting them done. These two people did La La Land, which was great, Greatest Showman, and Aladdin, all songwriters in all those movies, and you can tell it was a similar style in this movie, similar kind of speaking vocals. Like they would just, you could just say the words normally, but instead they were saying, and it gave more weight to the scene. They were just all great songs. There wasn't one that I felt wasn't great. It was just maybe one that wasn't needed and it should have just been talking. The Apology song is the one song I'm talking about. Just when it was the big reveal happens and Evan is telling Connor's parents and all that, and you just feel like it should have just stuck to the speaking and not turned into a song, and it just made the movie feel less, it wasn't taking it serious enough. The overall weight of what this movie's trying to give a message for, and it's just, I felt like that scene didn't need a song and would have been better nailed down and driven without that, and just having the emotions carry on that scene. But all the songs just move the plot forward, and they were great interweave throughout. They weren't not overdone. There was just enough of them. One of the biggest problems the movie did have was with the tone. It just seemed off. The movie did not get serious enough for the situations that were happening. There's seen no consequences for these actions that Evan Hansen takes or other people take in it. It's just kind of happier than what it should have been, I guess, if that makes sense. It just felt like this movie deserved the topic to be taken more seriously, and there can still be songs and lighthearted moments, but not all the way through. This movie never got serious at any point. It never got real. It just seemed just making light of a serious situation it shouldn't. And because of that, I'm going to give this movie a score of 40 out of 100. Most of that 48 points is for the songs and Ben Platt's performance. Without those two, this movie would get a much lower score and probably be much worse and in the 10 or lower range for me. But thank you for listening. And now I'll just jump right into my top 5 high school movies real quick for you guys at the end of this. There's a lot of great ones to choose from. I've seen a lot, and I can't just give you 5. I gotta give an honorable mention right off the bat here for Dead Poet Society. Robin Williams is great in that. Saw that very early on in my life and loved it. Loved the message of it, carpe diem of it. And it was just great watching. I rewatch it every so often throughout these years. And then, so now breaking down to my number 5 pick is McFarlane USA, which is a great movie about a track team coming together. It's got Kevin Costner in it. It's just about a community coming together, a school coming together, and becoming a family pretty much, and sharing that bond. It came out recently. I very much encourage you to go check it out somewhere. And then at number 4 on my list is Harry Potter, The Goblet of Fire, my favorite one of the Harry Potter film series. I don't really need to explain more. Most of you've probably seen it, but it was when it got very serious in the Harry Potter world, and the characters were at that high school age or around there, and it just helped. I just loved the competition aspect of it and just what the characters were dealing with in the 4th Harry Potter movie. And now at number 3, I'm from Chicago, big Chicago fan, so yeah, I'll put on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's one of my favorite movies. I love it. I love just going around Chicago to the places they've been. I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan, so love that scene. I've watched Ferris Bueller time and time again growing up with my best friend and my family or my brothers. It's very special to me. And that number two, another recent film that came out, The Edge of 17. I love this movie more times that I've watched it. I've watched it probably 10 times now. It's really great, very heartwarming. It just shows the high school today rather than Ferris Bueller when it showed it in the 80s. It shows how it's changed, how it's evolved through the years, and I can relate to a little bit more probably than Ferris Bueller, so that's why it's number two. And that number one, it has to be The Breakfast Club. It's one of my favorite movies too. I've seen it way more times. One of the few movies I own on DVD, and I put it in the PlayStation to watch it every now and again, even in my later years. It's really great. I could probably do a top 5 John Hughes movies on one of these videos because I've seen most of his, but The Breakfast Club is high up there. Even though I think it's kind of lost some significance as I've grown older, but I still connect with it very much so. So it stays at that number one position, but could change throughout the years here. Well, that's it for me, guys. Bye.